ZBA that there's a possibility of
I'd like to welcome all of you to this Plymouth Fall Annual Town Meeting Preview and Presentation Night. Is coming to you live on Thursday, October 9th. We are in the Great Hall in Town Hall at 6 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome all the people in attendance. I'm joined by a panel of people, including the Chair of the Advisory and Finance Committee to my right, Joseph Lally. Nicole Manfredi is the Assistant Town Moderator. David Golden is the Chair of the Select Board, and next to him, Derek Brindisi. He is Town Manager. We also have with us tonight Lynn Barrett. She is Director of Finance, and we have Kelly McElraith, who is our Town Clerk. At the start of town meeting, we have a number of procedural motions. Tonight's purpose is not to debate articles, but really to give you a preview of the motions that are coming before town meeting, some of the rationale for the motions, and information as to where you can go in order to get further information. And so before I go any further, I'm going to ask Nicole Manfredi, the Assistant Town Moderator, to give her initial remarks regarding the hybrid town meeting and some important dates. Nicole.
Thank you. This meeting will replay with showtimes to be announced on Comcast 15, Verizon 47. It will also be online soon at PAC TV Government Services channel on YouTube. The October 18th town meeting will be televised live on Comcast 15, Verizon 47, and stream live online on the Plymouth meetings. Oh, it says PAC TV, but we're not PAC TV anymore. Local Scene streaming channel. It will be available on that Government Services channel on YouTube the following weekend. Tonight we welcome both in-person, I'm getting notes from Dave in the back room. I'll correct that. Tonight we welcome both in-person and remote town meeting participation with a handful of town meeting members who are expected to join us via the Zoom webinar feature. All town meeting members should have received an email from me last week. Please read the details of that email carefully. It includes important deadlines, updated participation instructions. The October 18th town meeting will again be held in a hybrid format to provide maximum access to the voting members. In-person participation is best and expected. However, remote participation is available to town meeting members who know in advance that they will not be able to participate in person. It's not meant to be an alternative option simply for convenience, but to accommodate members who are truly unable to attend in person. To be eligible for remote participation, you must have the proper technology to support reliable Wi-Fi and computer. iPhones and iPads are not supported, and a basic understanding of computer browsers and related system technology. If you wish to register for remote participation and you have not done so, you have until tomorrow at noon to notify myself and Town Clerk Kelly McElraith. There will be no exceptions to the tomorrow noon deadline. Due to technology and staff limitations, once you register for remote participation, you are locked into that format and you will no longer be eligible to participate in person. This includes any adjourned sessions. If town meeting adjourns to Monday and you are a remote participant on Saturday, you will remain a remote participant and will not be eligible to attend in person. Currently, we have approximately 18 town meeting members who have registered for remote participation. On Tuesday, these members will receive a single email from Dave at Local Scene that will include both your Zoom and your vVoter credentials. Additionally, the cutoff for the motions book and submissions of presentations not produced by Local Scene is Thursday, October 16th. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Thank you. And that's Nicole Manfredi. She's the Assistant Town Moderator. With respect to the motions book, for those of you that are in attendance at the Great Hall this evening, we have a draft motions book. It looks like this. And for those of you that entered, it's on the table as you enter the room. If you didn't get a copy, I encourage you to do it. This is a living document. It is not final. In fact, today I was talking with one town meeting member who's joined us this evening, and I believe she'll talk a little bit about a motion she may wish to make. Also, just before the meeting, I was speaking to another town meeting member who may move to amend Article 21. So this is up to date as of today, but you can expect that there will be changes before the one that is printed with the deadline of next Thursday at noon. I would still accept motions right up until town meeting, except we will not be drafting legislation on town meeting floor. So certainly if you have any bylaw changes, we would want them in advance. Now, we have a number of procedural motions, and those will be taken up following the opening ceremonies and following remarks from the Assistant Town Moderator, from the Chair of the Select Board, and from the Chair of the Advisory and Finance Committee, and following my initial remarks. The first is we have to approve that we participate as a hybrid representative town meeting. Second, we are going to move that the adjourned session be October 20th at 6. And then I have another procedural motion, and that is that Sybil Holland of Precinct 8 is moving to change the order of the articles to hear Article 26 before Article 4. And I wanted to explain that if there are any other general procedural motions to come before town meeting, if you can get them to me in advance. And I would encourage you, I don't share my views on any substantive position I may have on any article. I will, however, share my views on procedural matters. And so I am making rulings prior to town meeting. I've made a number of rulings with respect to motions. I've accepted multiple motions. We'll go over some of them this evening, and I'm still working with town meeting members in order to do them in proper form. In fact, one of the motions might be viewed by some people as one that I might not welcome, and that is motions with respect to Article 26. I made a ruling that I would not accept a motion that is tantamount to making a resolution, because in all my years as moderator, we have not been acting upon resolutions for matters that are outside the scope of authority for town meeting. Most recently, you may recall, there was a request for a resolution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and I ruled that that was something that maybe you want to talk to your congressional delegation. The Article 26 motion that I've received is to urge the Select Board to take certain action. And again, it's outside the scope of our authority. It's within the authority of the Select Board, and I've ruled that therefore I would not accept it. However, there is a procedure whereby town meeting members can overrule the moderator's decision, and that is with a 2/3 vote. And so I've been working with two town meeting members in order to make sure that they have the proper procedure. So you'll see in your motion packet, for those of you that are here and for those of you watching, you can go to the town website, you will see that we've crafted multiple motions to help town meeting members accomplish their procedural objective. The first was to prepare a main motion for Article 6, which I've received and I've rejected, but it's in the paperwork for town meeting members to consider. There's also a motion to appeal the ruling of the moderator. So if in fact town meeting decides to move the order until after Article 3, it'll be heard at that time. If not, it will be heard at the end of the meeting. And if the appeal passes by 2/3, then there's another procedural motion to waive the charter requirement that the Advisory and Finance Committee hear the article, since the Advisory and Finance Committee did not hear it. So I tell you this because I want to encourage town meeting members and anyone else to contact me in advance to town meeting so we can help you draft motions that are in proper form, regardless of the nature of the motion. And I've also ruled Article 24 out of order because the petitioners seek to do something that is in conflict with state law and state statute as it relates to community preservation funds. That's regulated by state law. And so, again, that unfortunately I cannot accept. Most other motions I have accepted. There's one with respect to the capital outlay articles. I already had separated them, so there was no need to have the additional motion. So again, want to remind town meeting members, please do not hesitate to contact me and also staff with respect to any of the articles on which you have questions or might want to make some changes. So we're going to begin with Article 1, and I'm going to call on Mr. Lally in order to give his comments as to Article 1.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. By a vote of 9 in favor, 0 opposed, and 3 abstentions, the Advisory and Finance Committee recommends town meeting approve Article 1 in its entirety. Approval of this article will increase the FY26 general fund operating budget by $2,056,358 as detailed in the table titled Article 1 Supplemental Budget Requests. The committee noted continued efforts to lower postage, such as the ability to opt in to receive most tax and utility bills via the iCloud website. The committee also learned that although the town has saved money by insourcing counsel for some areas, the town will continue to hire outside legal counsel for specialty areas.
Thank you. And as Joseph Lally, he is Chair of the Advisory and Finance Committee, we will be having multiple motions voted separately, which is consistent with the manner in which we vote Article 7 budget items at the spring annual town meeting. I would like to draw to attention those of you that are with me, as well as those of you that are watching, that we have a motion to amend that I accepted. It's from Albert DiNardo, Precinct 17. He's moving to amend the vote taken at the 2025 spring annual town meeting under Article 5, Subcommittee Report E, by increasing planning and development line item 58, all other expenses, by $75,000. And to meet this appropriate transfer, and to meet this appropriate and transfer $75,000 from free cash. And that motion is a majority vote, and therefore we would take that vote and then have a vote on the main motion on Subcommittee Report D, either amended or not. And Mr. Lally, this is not something that came before your committee, so do you have an opinion on this?
My personal opinion? The committee does not have an opinion at this point. Let me answer that way.
Thank you. Any questions on Article 1? If not, in town meeting, again, we're going to go according to the warrant set by the Select Board. Article 2 is withdrawn. Article 3 is withdrawn. Next, we will either go to Article 4 or we will go to Article 26 if the motion to change the order passes. For purposes of this preview, I'm going to go to Article 4 and come to 26 at the end. With respect to Article 4, we have capital recommendations, and there is a spreadsheet here, and again, multiple motions. So, Joseph Lally, on behalf of FinCom.
The Advisory and Finance Committee, by a unanimous vote, recommends to town meeting that a town meeting approve Article 4, items A1, A3, A4, A5, and A6. With regard to item A4, we learned this afternoon that the department wishes to have A&F reconsider this particular item, which we are scheduled to do ahead of town meeting. And the reason for that is they did not get the grant they had anticipated, and they wish to have it rescinded. So that's what we're scheduled to do at our meeting ahead of town meeting. Otherwise, we approved all of the articles. It's just a note that item A4 will be reconsidered. I expect it to be reconsidered ahead of town meeting.
Thank you. And we do have one motion to amend under these A articles, and then we're going to do some presentations. But under Article A9, we have a motion from Robert Zuccaroli. He's a Precinct 1 town meeting member, and he would like to reduce the appropriation by $200,000. And that is a majority vote. and then we will go back to the main motion under A9, depending on whether or not it has been amended. We're now going to go to,
Mr. Moderator, I did have comments I wanted to share on item A1.
yes, please, go ahead.
Okay. So with regard to item A1, the committee was persuaded to approve the purchase of the hydrovac truck on the basis of analysis performed by the Water Department. Their analysis shows the planned high utilization of the hydro excavator in support of a mandated EPA-led service inventory and replacement project. The ability of this tool to lower the costs and lessen risk associated with excavation required for this project and use in other utility excavation work, and the lower cost of ownership, including operating and maintenance costs versus contracting out for the service at a rate of $2,800 to $3,000 a day, or about $460,000 a year for 160 days worth of work annually. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the presentations, we're going to begin with A3, which is the Coastal Resiliency Pilot Project. We're not going to do A4, but then we'll go to A5. So we're going to go ahead. Nicole Manfredi, our Assistant Town Moderator, is getting it ready to show. And town meeting will begin promptly at 8 a.m. on October 18th. We'll break within 2 hours at 10. There will be coffee provided for town meeting members for the break. And
The Plymouth Airport Commission is seeking town meeting support of Article 4 capital recommendations, item number A5, runway reconstruction, and item number A6, Gate 3 taxi lane reconstruction at Plymouth Municipal Airport. The runway is currently 4,350 feet long and 75 feet wide. The runway reconstruction project is not an extension, but simply necessary maintenance. The current runway is nearly 28 years old, with a pavement condition index of 53 out of 100. Existing cracks now run anywhere from 1 inch to 4 inches wide, and in some cases, several inches deep. Just as roads in town need periodic replacement, the runway requires the same upkeep. The runway reconstruction project will bring the runway up to current FAA B2 design standards. The weight rating for the runway will remain the same after the reconstruction has been completed. This project has been included in the FAA's capital improvement program for over a decade. The total cost for Article 4, item number A5, the runway reconstruction, is $9.2 million, with 90%, $8,280,000, being funded by the FAA, and 5%, $460,000, from Mass DOT Aeronautics. The Airport Commission is requesting town meeting provide the remaining 5% of funding by appropriating $460,000 from the Airport Enterprise account. Article 4, item number A6, is the Gate 3 taxi lane reconstruction project, which will replace about 50,000 square feet of pavement used by aircraft to access their hangars and connected aprons and taxiways. The pavement's condition index is just 1 out of 100, the lowest possible rating. Despite repeated repairs, the surface is beyond patching. Loose debris from the crumbling pavement poses a serious safety risk and potential liability if it damages an aircraft. The total cost for item number A6, the Gate 3 taxi lane reconstruction, is $870,000, funded 86.6%, $752,000, by the FAA, and 6.7%, $59,000, by Mass DOT Aeronautics. The Airport Commission is requesting town meeting provide the remaining 6.7% of funding by appropriating $59,000 from the Airport Enterprise account. Together, these improvements are essential to keep Plymouth Municipal Airport compliant with FAA safety standards and operating reliably.
Thank you, and we're going to continue. And Nicole Manfredi, are there any more under this article? No? And is there anyone in the room that wanted to be heard or speak, ask any questions with respect to Article 4? Anyone want to? Yes, please come to the podium, identify yourself, and let us know your question or comment.
Good evening, Michelle Christensen, Precinct 9. Quick question on item 4A, or A4, excuse me. I think that's in Article
Yes.
4, yes. That one, we now have a no motion, no action, as I understand it. But you're going to vote before the meeting. Can you clarify what you mean by that? Is that the Finance Committee that's?
Yes, so this afternoon, we were informed by Mr. Gould that they did not receive the grant necessary to make this project possible. And so he's asked to withdraw it. In order to do that, the procedural steps are we need to, by 2/3 vote, agree to reconsider that motion we had for Articles A1 through A6. And then, once we do that, we will hear the articles involved and make a decision. So I think we will just vote to rescind Article A4 if things go. That's the plan, but again, I don't know the vote yet.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Okay.
We may rally the troops, so.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
A reminder to town meeting members that while I determine the scope of the debate, you determine the length of the debate. Your motion would be a motion to close debate if you are through with the voting, if you want to close debate, and then that is not debatable. It's 2/3. You can also move to reconsider any motion on any article if you voted on the prevailing side. The next article, Article 5, is to change the 2026 spring town meeting date. I'm being told that on A8 and A9, Mr. Lally has additional comments. Go ahead.
Yes, so the committee divided some of the articles out, and so on our recommendation, by a vote of 11 in favor, 1 opposed, and no abstentions, the Advisory and Finance Committee recommends town meeting approve Article 4, Item A8, capital appropriations as listed in the table, capital recommendations. This has to do with the Little Red Schoolhouse evaluation, and while there was concern about the estimate of cost, the committee was reminded that the final cost will be determined through the procurement process of soliciting multiple bids. With regard to item A9, by a unanimous vote, the Advisory and Finance recommends that the town meeting approve Article 4, Item A9, capital appropriation for the amended appropriation of $378,518, provided, however, that the amount authorized shall be reduced by the amount of grant payments received as listed in the table below. The committee felt strongly that the visitor center is an integral part of the tourism industry and the waterfront community. The project has been delayed twice, resulting in higher project costs due to construction escalation. The committee felt strongly that providing accessibility to the restrooms and lobby and completing the expansion are long overdue. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. And now we'll go to Article 5, does anyone have any other questions or comments on any of the Article 4 items? Article 5 is to change the 2026 spring town meeting date. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by a unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 5. Approval of this article will change the date of the 2026 spring annual town meeting from April 4th to April 11th, 2026. The committee noted that April 4, 2026 is on a holiday weekend. Setup costs for the meeting will be higher, and there is a risk that quorum may not be achieved for a meeting on that date. If that occurs, costs would at least double because a meeting would need to be set up for another date with its own setup expenses.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? If not, moving on to Article 6, it's to establish a land acquisition special revenue account. We'll hear first from Mr. Lally, followed by Mr. Golden on behalf of the Select Board.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by a unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 6. Approval of this article will authorize the Select Board to petition General Court to establish a special revenue account for land acquisition per the warrant language. The committee asked Mr. Golden, who is actually Mr. Kenny who presented the article, but Mr. Golden will answer tonight, how this account differs from the land bank account that was set up or authorized at fall town meeting in 2024. Mr. Golden will now will share that answer and much more with you in just a few minutes.
Thank you. David Golden is Chair of the Select Board.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I won't go through the whole presentation since you'll be getting that at town meeting, but to answer the question as to how this differs from the land bank, the land bank is an independent entity that'll be set up by special act First from town meeting, which has already happened, then by action from the state legislature, and finally to be approved by the voters of Plymouth. The land bank would establish a transfer fee on all real estate sold in Plymouth, subject to a variety of exemptions. This particular article will establish an account. It's simply taking money that we're already collecting for properties that are coming out of Chapter 61 classification, so money that we're already legally required to collect. We're taking that and putting it into a special account to mitigate any issues that might arise from the release of Chapter 61 designation. So as an example, the Atlantic Country Club was a recent hot topic here in town, had that property sold and been developed as a 40B. There'd be tremendous impact to the community. We might need additional schools or fire stations or any other number of public resource down in that area. This account will collect the money that comes from properties exiting Chapter 61 and use it to address those issues that arise from properties coming out of 61. Happy to answer any questions that folks may have.
Thank you, David Golden, Select Board Chair. Any other questions or comments under Article 6? If not, I'm going to move to Article 7. This evening, I'm not reading into the record all of the motions, but at town meeting, I will read either the motion or a portion of it. But Article 7 is Morton Park dedication of town-owned land. We'll hear from the Advisory and Finance Committee, followed by a presentation. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 7. Approval of this article will accept culvert easements as shown on Plymouth Morton Park Road property plan and summary sheet, Morton Park Road dated September 4th, 2025, prepared by SLR Consulting, on file with the Town of Plymouth Engineering Services Division, authorized the town a temporary construction easement from James R. Sanderson Sr., the owner of record of 68 Morton Park Road as shown on the plan as TE1, and further authorize a permanent easement as shown on the plan as PE01, designating the area where the culvert will be replaced for highway purposes.
Now we'll go to the presentation. And this is on Article 7, Morton Park, dedication of town-owned land. And we have before us information that's been provided by the department. And so there's the information, and at town meeting, you may be hearing from the department to speak as to their PowerPoint presentation, which is up on the screen, and it'll be shown to you. We're going to just scroll through the pages of the PowerPoint presentation, and you'll see here there are some maps. And now we're going to go to Article 8, the Eversource easement, Springland, Jenny Pond. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 8. Approval of this article will authorize access and utility easements to Eversource over, across, upon, and under a portion of town-owned property located at Summer Street, Spring Lane, in the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts, as shown on the plan dated April 9th, 2025, on file with the town clerk.
And there is the PowerPoint, and there are some other parts of it that are being shown, and this will be available at town meeting as well. And so that concludes Article 8. Are there any questions? It will be a majority and a roll call vote. We would then go to Article 9, and that has to do with the assessor, assistant assessor, certification stipend. Joseph Lally, Chair of the Finance Committee.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by a unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 9. Approval of this article will accept the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 21A, and compensate an assessor or an assistant assessor who completes the necessary training and receives certification as a Massachusetts municipal assessor or certified assessment evaluator. The additional compensation is 10% of the annual salary up to a maximum of $1,000 annually. The committee feels this is an important tool for staff development and retention.
Thank you. And on Article 9, it's a majority and a roll call. Any questions or comments? If not, we're going to go to Article 10. We'll hear first from the Finance Committee, and then we have a town meeting member who wishes to be heard with some comments and questions. Bylaw recodification. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee, by a unanimous vote, recommends that town meeting approve Article 10. Approval of this article will renumber and recaption the 1999 general bylaws of the town and adopt the code of the town of Plymouth as detailed in Schedule A on file in the office of the Town Clerk, entitled Final Draft of the Town of Plymouth, Massachusetts, dated July 25, 2025 by General Code, LLC.
Thank you, Joseph Lally, Chair, Advisory and Finance Committee. I'd like to invite Donna Curtin, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 3, to come up and give her comments. She and I have been working on whether or not there would be a motion to amend, and we do have Kelly McElreath to respond to any questions from Donna Curtin. Welcome, Donna Curtin.
Thank you, Donna Curtin, Precinct 3, and I would like to thank the town clerk very much for giving me a very detailed response to my my list of many questions, and I think it's been very helpful. One of the comments that I've heard about this article is that when we're looking at bylaw changes, it's so helpful for us to see what people call the red line version. You can see the old text and the new text, and you just get a very clear sense of what we're being asked to change. And the motion that I'm working with the moderator on to try to present in an appropriate way is to eliminate from consideration for these, the motion to amend the bylaws in this way, certain portions of language that really do not reflect the standardization that seems to be the intent of these changes, but really reflect points of decision. And those points of decision may be on smaller matters, but they're still points of decision that I believe as a town meeting member should come before town meeting and be able to be openly debated. And one of those things is with the change of language in certain areas of the schedule of changes that has been presented to us that are more than capitalization or correction or punctuation or numbering. They actually are qualitative changes in language that can be interpreted in a number of different ways. And one of the things flagged, there may be reasons for these. There may be reasons for saying this is a way to standardize this text. But it is somebody who's made a decision and a choice as to how that standardization should take place. So when you take one committee that has a certain threshold for membership, which may be a registered voter, and you have other committees listed that do not have that threshold, that have different language that says citizen, and someone decides to standardize that, they're making a choice. They're going to choose, I'm going to standardize it by choosing this language and not the other. That should be a point of discussion for town meeting, because there are underlying implications for every change of word in the legal structure of our bylaws. So I am going to be working with the moderator to try to bring a simple and clear motion to amend that will involve the deletion of a couple of lines of text so that we don't end up trying to make the mincemeat on town meeting floor.
Kelly McElreath, Town Clerk, anything you'd like to say at this time in response to the comments?
No, I believe it's a choice of town meeting whether or not they want to make the change that's been proposed, and if there's an amendment to not do a deletion as recommended, an amendment can move forward, and if it passes, we'll make the correction.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Donna
Moderator.
Curtin, and I'm going to use you as an example of what I do prior to town meeting when I get contacted. There are some times when the request is so simple that I don't need to involve anyone else except Jeanette White, who helps prepare the motions for all of you to receive in a way of a book. So I always copy her and involve her. There may, however, be other concerns, such as with this, where we have a bylaw where I would bring in town council because we're talking about a bylaw, or certainly the town clerk because she's directly involved in this. On some of the earlier motions, for example, I was certainly able to handle the motion from Mr. DiNardo where he wants to add 75,000. That's easy. But in addition to involving Jeanette White, I may involve Lynn Barrett because we have to get it right in terms of what item are we amending since the request from the town meeting member was, well, let's give 75,000 to planning department, but it's not that easy. We got to go back to the budget and come up with the item number. So I share that with you only because I want you to know that there is a process that I follow that is not as simple as just contacting me and saying, I want to amend this, and this is what I want to do. It involves some review and preparation, and so I'm very grateful to Donna and the other makers of motions who have contacted me well in advance, so we're able to work through the language so that we can accomplish procedurally what a town meeting member would like to do at town meeting. Any further comments on Article 10? If not, we're going to go to Article 11, Historical Commission. Joseph Lally.
By a vote of 11 in favor, 2 opposed, and no abstentions, the Advisory and Finance Committee recommends town meeting approve Article 11. Approval of this article will accept the provisions of the Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 8D, and establish a Plymouth Historical Commission. Those in opposition expressed concerns about added bureaucracy for homeowners.
Thank you. And any further comments? This is a 2/3 vote. If not, Article 12 is withdrawn. Article 13, Title V Repair Fund, Joseph Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by a unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 13. Approval of this article will allow the town to borrow $400,000 through the Massachusetts Clean Water Trust to fund the Title V Betterment Loan Program. These low-interest loans are available to town residents meeting certain income criteria on a first-come, first-served basis to fund septic system replacement or repair. Historically, the funding for this program has been assessed as funds are depleted.
This is also a 2/3 vote. Any discussion? If not, Article 14 is a zoning bylaw amendment, the multifamily overlay district. Joseph Lally.
By a vote of 11 in favor, 2 opposed, and no abstentions, the Advisory and Finance Committee recommends town meeting approve Article 14. Approval of this article will satisfy the compliance requirement that 50% of the total overlay district be contiguous, which the previous plan did not.
And for Article 14, there is a presentation, and you'll see it's up on the screen. It looks like it's going to be a PowerPoint, and so you'll be receiving the full presentation at town meeting, and you'll see here it's getting into compliance with the MBTA Communities Law. Any further comments? If not, Article 15, no motion, no action. Article 16 begins the CPC, Community Preservation Committee articles. First one, Open Space Recreation, Dark Orchard, All-Person Trail. We will be receiving a presentation from the chair of the CPC, but in the meantime, we're going to hear from the Finance Committee. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by a unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 16. Approval of this article will create the first public universally accessible nature trail in Plymouth. The trail will consist of 2,500 linear feet of 100% accessible boardwalks, bridges, and sidewalks. It will include benches, sitting areas, guide ropes, and tactile features to aid visually impaired persons utilizing the trail, trail markers, kiosks, interpretive signage, and additional handicap parking. The Community Preservation Committee voted in the affirmative contingent upon the town receiving a grant from the state to reimburse a portion of the cost.
Edward Bradley is the chair of the Community Preservation Committee, and for town meeting members have received a book for the community preservation articles, 16 through 23, and Mr. Bradley, the chair, will make a presentation at town meeting. This would be a 2/3 vote, and we see on the screen the beginning of the PowerPoint. Any discussion on Article 16? And while we're discussing information, you have the report and recommendations. The Advisory and Finance Committee is also a fairly large book, and we talked about the motion book. We're guided by past precedent, by local law, the town charter, the town bylaw, which is on the town website, and also parliamentary procedure from town meeting time, and there is a new fourth edition that just came out this year. All of these are very helpful as we prepare and conduct our town meeting. Article 17 is the second CPC article, Open Space Recreation, Gilmore Land Acquisition. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by a unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 17. Approval of this article will authorize the town to purchase 13 parcels of land totaling 20.8 acres directly abutting Beaver Dam Conservation Area and Tidmarsh Wildlife Sanctuary. This purchase will also contribute to permanently protecting 97+% of Little Island Pond's shoreline. The community preservation voted in the affirmative contingent upon the town receiving a $448,000 grant in reimbursements, grant reimbursements.
It's a two-thirds vote, and there'll also be a presentation you see on the screen. It is the Gilmore Land Acquisition from the Department of Energy and Environment. And if there are no further questions, go to Article 18, Affordable Housing, Habitat for Humanity. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 18. Approval of this article will allow a grant to Habitat for Humanity for the purposes of construction support for a single-family home on 31 Strand Avenue with an affordable housing deed restriction in perpetuity. This property will count toward the town's subsidized housing inventory.
Any further discussion? This is a majority vote, unlike some of the others, which are two-thirds. And moving on, the executive director of the Habitat for Humanity will be at town meeting, and she will be available to answer questions as well. Article 19, Historic Preservation, Little Red Schoolhouse. Mr. Lally.
By a vote of 12 in favor, 2 opposed, and no abstentions, the Advisory and Finance Committee recommends town meeting approve Article 19. Approval of this article will allow for an existing condition study of the historically significant Little Red Schoolhouse to evaluate the necessary steps to preserve the structure. The committee expressed concerns about the apparent high cost and noted this is a budget number. The committee was reminded that the final cost will be determined by the procurement process.
Thank you. It's a majority vote. And then Article 20, Memorial Hall Historic Structure Report. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by a unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 20. Approval of this article will allow for a historic structure report to identify significant features and architecture to guide the historic restoration, preservation, and renovations of Memorial Hall.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, Article 21, the Training Green, Open Space Recreation. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 21. Approval of this article will authorize the rehabilitation and rebuilding of the training green as described in the final schematic plan by SLR dated July 2025. The plan is to improve the parking by making ADA improvements and upgrades, address safety concerns, and improve the park aesthetically while preserving the historic beauty of the park's natural state and maintaining the original design as close as possible.
Thank you. And I have been contacted by a town meeting member who wishes to move to amend this article. The town meeting member does not object or supports the appropriation of $644,000, but the town meeting member does not want any more than $530,000 from the Community Preservation Committee and wants the rest to come from another source. When I explained that to him, he's working on what that other source would be. And so when you get your final motions book, please look at Article 21. There's likely to be a motion to amend. The motions to amend are all majority, regardless of the quantum of vote on the main motion, which in this case is also majority. Any further discussion on Article 21? Article 22, rescind borrowing authorization. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by a unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 22. Approval of this article will rescind the borrowing authority on Article 9B of the 2022 Fall Town Meeting for the Spire Center Rehabilitation Project due to completion of the project.
And it's a majority vote. Any further discussion? If not, Article 23, Historic Preservation Town Records. Mr. Lally.
The Advisory and Finance Committee recommends by a unanimous vote that town meeting approve Article 23. Approval of this article will preserve and protect the town's permanent records, which will be transcribed and uploaded into the town's digital repository. This is the last set of records from 1783 to 1886 to be transcribed and digitized, allowing the community complete access to all of the town records from 1636 until now.
Thank you. Majority vote. Any further discussion? If not, Article 24 was to change the CPA funds distribution percentages. As I said earlier, for those of you that may not have been with us in the beginning, this is one of the articles where I made a ruling that there is no motion that I could receive that would be able to be acted upon by town meeting. Now, why is that important? You know, why can't we still go forward and discuss? Well, number one, it conflicts with state law, and as the moderator, I'm very careful to try to manage town meeting so that we have the best outcome, not only for town meeting members, but for the town of Plymouth, because I believe we also have a responsibility to taxpayers and the residents to spend as much time as is needed on those areas over which we have control and responsibility, fiscal matters and legislation and bylaws, but not to get into areas over which is outside of our authority. So in this case, it is outside of our authority because this is something governed by state law, so we can't change the fund distribution percentages. The petitions would need to go to the state legislature in order to change the law regarding the CPA funds distribution. Article 25, so there's no motion, no action on 24, no motion, no action on Article 25, which was the temporary moratorium for earth removal. And I was asked by someone, well, will we have any discussion? So there's no discussion on any article unless there's a main motion. So there won't be any unless we receive a motion on Article 25. Article 26 is
Mr.
another.
Moderator, if I may,
Mr. Lally.
just for information purposes, the petitioners appeared before the Advisory and Finance Committee to request that the committee take no action, which I hate to say we didn't do, but we did do. We took no action.
Thank you. And sometimes people say, well, if it's on the warrant, why then can't we hear it at town meeting? And so, again, it is the Select Board's responsibility to decide what will be on the warrant. But in terms of deciding that, they're faced with the responsibility of determining, is it in proper form? Do you have the right number of signatures? Was it submitted on time? And so on. And if the form is proper, they're going to put it on the warrant. But then the responsibility shifts to the moderator to decide, okay, is it possible, though, that we can have a motion on this article? And most times we can, but sometimes with the citizens' petitions, we find that there's really no way to have a motion, and that was what happened on 24 when the article violates state law. Next, Article 26. So in talking to town meeting members that wish to proceed in this, I indicated that I'm going to need a number of procedural motions and a substantive main motion. So earlier we had the motion to change the order. If that succeeds, then 26 would have come up after Article 3. But for the time being tonight, we're looking at it as Article 26. So you'll see here in the book, it says Ms. Holland moves to appeal the ruling. Actually, that's been changed. It'll be William Abbott, Precinct 16. He's moving to appeal the ruling, and it's a 2/3 vote. And we can have debate on that. And as I said at the outset, I've given my reasons for the ruling. And just to review, the urging to the Select Board is a resolution. The charter doesn't provide for us to do resolutions. The fact that other towns might do it is not a reason why Plymouth should do it. That was one of the arguments given. Well, another town adjacent to Plymouth has done this, so why can't we do it? We're guided by past precedent. We're guided by our charter. Our charter gives this authority to, and not only the charter, but the whole makeup of the matter that is substantively within this is under the purview of the Select Board, not of town meeting. And quite frankly, my decision has nothing to do with the substantive part of this, but rather with my view that we should each stay in our own lane, that in this case, town meeting members, if they wish to urge the Select Board, they have many other avenues. They can call Select Board members, they can speak in public comment, they can write letters, any number of things that they can do. But we're going to have a debate on the motion to appeal the ruling. If that passes, then the next motion, again, will also be by William Abbott, Precinct 16, so we'll revise this, and he is going to move to hear it regardless of the fact that the charter provides that the Advisory and Finance Committee conduct a hearing. Since they did not, then 2/3 of town meeting members can vote to waive that requirement. And so, again, this is debatable. And then finally, if that occurs, you'll see that the text of the substantive main motion from Sybil Holland, Precinct 8, who moves that we urge the Select Board. And that would be a majority vote. So that completes the various articles. And now looking back on all 26, are there any people here in the room that would wish to either make a comment or ask a question as to any of the articles contained in the warrant? Yes, please come up to the podium. And while we hear from town meeting member, again, a reminder, town meeting is Saturday, October 18 at 8 a.m., Plymouth North High School. Welcome.
Hi, again, Michelle Christensen, Precinct 9. Just a quick, on Article 16, there were $300K from the Environmental Affairs. Have we heard from Mr. Gould on that? Did that get approved, or no?
Would someone like to answer
I guess my question is, will we have any updates on any of these that had, depended upon various funds coming in by the meeting? Do you know that, any chance?
Yes, Lynn Barrett is the Director of Finance.
The Environmental Affairs Fund is what we call a receipt reserve for appropriations. So
Yes.
the motion includes to appropriate $300,000 from the Environmental Affairs Fund. So town meeting has to do that on October 18th.
Okay, and then there were $100K from Mass Trails Grant, and that's the one that is contingent upon coming in?
They got awarded that grant, I believe, the beginning of this week. We
Okay,
heard that
thank
they
you.
got that grant.
So that one's there, all right. And then there was, I think, the one for the Gilmore land acquisition. Did that had a grant on it
That
as well?
had a grant also.
And we haven't heard?
Have not heard on that
Okay.
one yet.
All right, thank you very much. That was my question.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, I'd like to thank the members of the panel. To my right, Joseph Lally, he is the chair of the Advisory and Finance Committee. To my left, Nicole Manfredi is the assistant town moderator. We're joined by David Golden, the chair of the Select Board, the town manager, Derek Brindisi, Lynn Barrett, Director of Finance, and Kelly McElreath, town clerk. We urge you to contact staff and us if you have other questions or are looking for additional information prior to town meeting. We'd like town meeting members to be informed and prepared so that at town meeting, you can spend your time debating and deliberating as you prepare to vote. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve Trifletti, Plymouth Town Moderator. Good day.